This habit of blaming the law, every time we blame the law when we fail, needs to come to an end. I think we have enough laws to address the challenges that we face in terms of public finances, fiscal discipline. I don't say whether the fight against corruption and whatever corruption means will go away, will be successful for as long as we mischaracterize the crime of theft. To me, the crime of theft should be addressed as theft and should be the full force of the law enforcement should come on it. Now, when you look at the ACC is largely a bureaucracy. It politicizes the fight against corruption or the fight against the theft of public assets. If you look at the core mandate of the EACC under Article 79, is to enforce Chapter 6, which is not a crime-fighting mandate. That small chapter is largely a code of conduct. The ASECA and other things are Parliament adding the EACC more work. But the core mandate of the EACC is to ensure discipline in the public service as provided for in Chapter 6, which does not involve any crime-fighting powers. So that area has been left unguarded. That's why you find a lot of funny things going on and nothing happens. Now, in terms of crime fighting, you look at the EACC itself. Recently, they had the changeover from the CEO. The EACC is an independent commission. And like all independent commission, it has the powers to appoint its own, it's a power to appoint its own staff. And the staff may include the CEO. But look at what happened the other day when the CAC was recruiting a new CEO. It came to Parliament. The president it came to Parliament. Yet Article 252 is very clear, clause 1C, that each commission and each holder of an independent office shall recruit its own staff. So when you bring the CEO of the EACC to Parliament for approval and appointment, who is now appointing who is now in charge of the CEO? To whom does the CEO answer? To politicians. And you expect the commission now to be independent when the CEO has already been captured. He can ignore the commissioners. So to me, I think we've got enough laws. We just need to enforce the laws we have. So if we can't recruit a CEO of the EACC according to the Constitution, Article 252, Clause 1, Paragraph C, then I think all that we are going to discuss is not merited. Let us also, it has been quite some time since the new Constitution came into force. I would have preferred, instead of rushing for new laws and whatever, I would have preferred an audit of the EACC to inform us where the problem lies, an independent audit. That way, then we would be able to know what ails the EACC, the EACC in terms of executing the extra mandate Parliament has given it, which mandate directly falls, it properly belongs to the Kenya Police. We would then find ourselves, why is it that in some counties, the EACC writes roasting reports, like the last report that came out the other day, Read it. It's a very rosy report. It's clearing governance. It's doing whatever, and some of us know that's not true. Some of us have reported cases to the EACC and nothing happens. Instead, you are mocked. You are told you can go as many times as you want to the EACC. We shall see. We know how to handle them. So I don't think that the law is the problem. And we can write as many laws as possible. I don't think we are going to get anywhere. What I think we needed to do before coming up with more laws, for me, was to audit the ACC. Find out how many cases were reported to it. How are they handled? About 90% of the cases reported to the ACC never see the light of day. They never get properly investigated. So, personally, I find it very sad and painful that the blame is now being shifted to whatever, to the legal framework. This particular law has good things. It also has some things that don't make sense to me. Like if you look at the definition of a relative, means a person who is related to a public officer by birth, marriage, common law partnership, adoption or affinity, and includes the public officer's father, mother, son, daughter, brother, sister, uncle, aunt, great uncle, those are brothers of your grandfather and sisters of your grandfather, first cousin, nephew, niece, husband, wife, grandfather, grandmother, grandson, granddaughter, father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, stepfather, stepmother, Now, how would a conflict of interest arise because of this? If I'm a public officer, where does a conflict of interest arise when the brother of my grandfather wants to do business with government? So some of these things I think are overkill. I just think that this whole thing we call corruption is mischaracterized. It is theft by servant. And the same force that we deal with thieves should be applied to those who steal from public offices. When we call it corruption, we sort of sanitize it. You sort of make it like a pastime. Just like we've mischaracterized robbery and violence in the North Rift, where people are killed and their cattle are taken, by calling it cattle rustling or some cultural activity. And then the law enforcement is helpless before it. You have seen people going when they are called someone to the EACC. They go with delegations. They perform catwalks or chest stamping. If they are men, they chest stamp like male gorillas. If they are women, they walk like they're on a catwalk with their followers and acolytes. And they appear before the ICC. You have never seen a similar situation before a police station. Because the ICC is an elite club, it's an elitist institution. I would love a situation whereby these thieves are arrested and thrown on the floor of a police cell, answerable to an OCS. And the money that is being wasted on the EACC be used to beef up the police and especially the CID department on economic crimes and whatever. And the EACC goes back to ensure that the enforcing ethics in public offices, so that it should be able to ensure people are reporting to work, people are performing. We have a situation whereby, like most medical facilities, doctors come in, hang in their coats, then they go and sit in their private clinics. That's what corruption is, not theft by servant. They should be able to deal with that kind of corruption and ensure people are at their work desks, the public is being served, And where they encounter an aspect of theft, they should hand over to the police so that those people are handled by the police. But then we have got Daseka, which gives the ACC those powers. But look at the structure of the ACC. The directors, what capacity of crime busting do they have if you have to handle crime? What's the capacity of Bishop Oginde to tackle a crime? With due respect to the Honorable Bishop. Look at the directors, the commissioners. What capacity do they have as crime busting entities? And why do they have to go and raid the Kenya Police Service for officers to do investigations and whatever, and then distort the pay? They pay them more than the other officers. So I personally think that we need a complete overhaul to locate this institution within the Constitution, and especially Article 79 of the Constitution, and then see where does Parliament get the powers to enact the ASECA, which was enacted before the current Constitution anyway, to vest police powers in this civilian organization. I don't know, but I'm just thinking aloud that maybe going forward, we need to engage in a lot of thinking aloud, and maybe also think of why Parliament, why the drafters of the Constitution at, I think it's Article 145 or something, Article 245, I think. 245 something, they say the 245.8, yeah, 245.8. The framer said Parliament shall enact legislation to give full effect, and then they also, at Article 247, that's the article I should have read, Parliament may enact legislation establishing other police services under the supervision of the National Police Service and the command of the Inspector General. I tend to think that Article 247, when read with Article 79 of the Constitution, bars Parliament from enacting laws like the ASECA, which vests police powers into a civilian commission. And maybe if we want a special organ to deal with theft in the public service, theft by servant in the public service, which is Honduras. Billions, trillions of money is being stolen. Then maybe here we would be dealing with the Parliament setting up maybe the economic crimes unit of the CID being set up as a special police unit and being facilitated to be able to deal with the crime properly. And I'm saying that because I'm very bitter of the EACC. In 2015 or so, the EACC, when the Eurobond thing was up, the EACC issued a press statement saying that they are going to investigate the Eurobond and tell us what happened. I've been waiting for that report until today. Nothing doing. No money is there. A lot of odious debt running into trillions of shillings. Economic crimes, money being borrowed and not being brought back into the Kenyan municipality. Nothing being done. So you wonder whether we are going to forget these people are looting the country by the trillion and just focus on petty issues in terms of comparatively petty, because if somebody has hammered a trillion, and here we are dealing with somebody who has stolen a million, it's comparatively petty, and then the fellows who steal these billions don't come. There's 7.1 billion US dollars stolen through the Eurobonds. The ACC have not lifted a finger because the big boys are involved. Now, what do we do? So do we write more laws and believe that will make it possible for us to win this war? Or do we go back and say, let there be accountability? What kind of thefts have gone on in this country? And how has this organ engaged with it? And if it's not engaging, then we go back and say, okay, we don't need it to be doing or to be engaging in crime, and then we boost our police. But let us be faithful to the law. Let us be faithful to the law. I don't think the framers of the Constitution ever anticipated that crime would be fought by a civilian organization. Parliament under 247 was given the power to create special police forces, and that could be the way for me to fight crime and beef up the powers of the police, and so that we can be able to begin engaging with the crime on the revenue side of things. I've not seen a single case on the revenue side of the theft of public funds that the EACC has investigated or prosecuted. Yet that's where we lose a lot of our money. I only see them pursuing expenditure. So even corruption in the way policies are formulated. When we say our budget should contain, as according to Article 220, Clause 1 of the Constitution, our budget should contain estimates of revenue and estimates of expenditure put out there. I've not seen the ACC interrogate that. When the Minister for Finance is always publishing monthly statements of actual revenue and net expenditure, which clearly demonstrate that what is being implemented is not the budget Parliament approved. I've not seen the EACC raise a finger about that. And those are the areas where we are being looted. This country is on its knees right now because our debt, our odious debt has hit the roof. I think the last figures I saw about repayment of debt, about 1.7 trillion shillings repaying debt, out of which only 700 went to repaying the principal and $1 million was paying the interest. Totally unsustainable. So I think that this law we are discussing is not a panacea of anything. It's just going to add to the confusion we have. Let us call theft theft. Let us prosecute people who steal public funds as thieves, not as corrupt people. Being corrupt is becoming fashionable in this country because it looks like that's how people gain power and keep it. Let us proceed. Let us deal with theft by servant as theft by servant. People are stealing from public offices. There are servants in those offices. They should be dealt with. Look at corruption. Go and look at the allocation of roads over the past 10 years. Look at how roads have been allocated in this country. Huh? My own Busia comes out at the bottom rag. Some counties have been given billions and billions of shillings for roads. Some counties are doing original roads. Some are just doing, if you look at the quality of roads. Those are the kind of things that the ethics and the corruption should also be investigating. Interrogate those things that Parliament is doing. The law requires equitable development. When there's no equitable development, that is corruption. That's what is corruption. Theft by servant is not corruption. So this commission should go back and see what it's really supposed to be. It should uphold the rule of law. It cannot have its CEO appointed by politicians, contrary to the constitution, and think that it's going to fight. It's going to be. It has got any moral feet to stand on. So my submission is that I don't think that the real problem is the law. The real problem is more fundamental. The law is there. It's the failure to adhere to the design of the constitution, and also the incompetence of the people who are running the Anti-Corruption Commission. If they have taken over the crime fighting, they would have taken over the mandate of economic crimes. They have failed dismally. The question of odious debt should not be there today. They should have told us who the culprits are. And I would like the EACC to tell me why the press release dated 4th December 2015 by Halake Wako promising to unearth the Eurobond scandal has never released a report. Where is the judiciary in that? And we're talking about big money, $7 billion US, $7.1 billion US. So I think we need to be more serious. Look at the report of activities and final statement that the ESCC may publishes every year. Read through them. Where is the substance? Where is the substance in the fight against economic crimes in this country? Simpler diversions, a distortion, just making us look and hope for the moon to drop one day and eliminate the darkness in our villages. So my report card on the ESCC is 0 out of 10. And it cannot continue pursuing individuals who steal through expenditure only, who comparatively steal peanuts compared to those who steal through the budget, who borrow odious debt, which you cannot trace in the economy, in trillions of shillings, billions of shillings. The ACC shies away from them. When there's pressure to issue press statements that we are going to investigate, it issued one on 4th of August and on 4th December 2015. Halake Wako, the CEO, signed saying they are going to give us a report on the Eurobond issues. Up to today, they have not released the report. The judiciary is not there. So let us not look at fight over the crumbs that fall off the table. Let us get onto the table and even in the kitchen and determine how things are cooked. And so my submissions would be that this bill is just part of the effort to make us look away from what is killing the country. Thank you. With that, I hand back the mic.